Yeah, well, basically, I got diagnosed with ME, and waiting for the diagnosis was horrible because I had all these lists of symptoms, and nobody knew what was wrong. So you're wondering, oh my gosh, what on earth is it? What's wrong with me? And when they came up with the diagnosis, it was hideous because you thought, well, what does this mean? I don't understand it. What is it? And there was nothing you could put a finger to think, well, okay, my knee's hurting, so I'll put a plaster on it, type of thing. You couldn't do anything like that. But I'm a health therapist, and I just thought, I'm going to get myself well. I'm not having this. I'm getting better. So I thought, I just need good food and being wheeled out into the sunshine and just, being looked after. But of course, you can't get that these days. So the good food thing flummoxed me for a bit, and basically, I was really very ill. I could hardly move. I couldn't get out of bed. If I did have a day that was good, I would take a walking stick with me. I can't believe I was doing all these things, and it was just an awful. There's no life. There's just no life. You're on painkillers because everything hurts, and I used to have to sit like this to eat and rest my whole body because I couldn't digest my food.
And was it a sudden onset? How old were you when?
No, I think I'd been ill for quite a while, but I didn't realise it because I used to work incredibly hard and did about 3 different jobs and rushing here, there, and everywhere. And I got, you got up one morning and I thought, I can't do this. I can't move. What's the matter with me? So go and see the doctor. Tests. Oh, you're fine. Just take a week off work. You're stressed. You're something or other. And of course I did, and it didn't make any difference. But I thought, right, I must be well now. So you just carried on, and it just got worse and worse and worse. Aches and pains. Not sleeping. Totally wired up and awake. You think, I want to sleep, I'm really tired. Close your eyes, and it's like somebody's keeping your eyes open. They weren't, but that's how it felt like. Anyway, so basically I kept going to see the doctor and couldn't come up with anything, so I just thought I was lazy, and I just had to force myself to be well, force myself to do things. And in the end, my body just sort of stopped. I was cleaning my parents' house, and it just didn't happen anymore. I couldn't sort of push the lever. And then my husband said, look, let's go back and get this diagnosed. And then the doctor said, well, you've been several times to the doctors over a period of years, and we've got now even longer list of symptoms, so we call this chronic fatigue. And I asked her once, why wouldn't you call it ME? And she said, because there's no evidence to show that in those days they used to call ME inflammation of the brain, and there's no evidence to show that it's that. So anyway, I just thought, well, like this, I'm getting better. I just need some good food. And that didn't work, really. I saw a nutritionist, and unfortunately, I think she gave me very bad advice. So I did her programme and got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
Right.
And in the end, a little voice said, Marianne, why did she tell you not to eat calcium and stay off all calcium foods when you haven't been eating it for donkey's years? I thought, that's true. It's like I was talking to myself, and I thought, right, okay. So I took a calcium magnesium supplement, and basically that was the first step up the ladder of getting better. And then I got very anal about my food, so I've now got rid of all additives out of my food. And I eat gluten and dairy-free diet. It's very boring when I go out to eat some things, but basically I'm well. And there's a lot of misalignments that go on in the body as well, so I looked at that aspect because I do massage and I teach an exercise class. And in fact, that's quite interesting. You could argue that maybe that's how I got ill, because years ago I used to teach about 6 classes a week, I think. So, you're twisting yourself in all sorts of positions, and you're doing what you shouldn't do, and you're showing everybody what to do, and you're peering over to make sure they're okay, and you're just pulling everything out. So you could argue, if you look back, there's a lot of reasons why it happened. So basically I did my own stretch regime, and I did see a couple of therapists. Some of the things they said helped a little bit, but none of them led to where I am today. Feeling great. And I don't even pace myself. And I met somebody the other day, and she said, oh, hi, Snap, you've got yourself well from me, so have I. I went, oh, that's brilliant, that's really good news, I'm glad you have. And she said, yes, as long as I pace myself, I'm fine. I'm thinking, pace? Oh, yes, of course, I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. So I just... it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of silly little things. And I tell my clients this as well. I said, I've discovered that I must get up out of bed in the morning when I first wake up, and not lie in bed, because you get headaches and feel really worse. And I have to go to bed when I first feel tired. So sometimes during the week, I'm going to bed at 8:30, but then I'm up at sort of 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. But it suits me, it's great, it's fine.
So were you always teaching those classes and obviously had to drop all of that when you weren't well at all? Or?
They had gone down, I must
Okay.
admit. I mean, that was another life, basically, when I was living in Spain. But yes, no, I don't think I was actually teaching classes then. And another argument here with that. But I was working down in Turkey, and I had 2.5 days and jam-packed full with massage clients.
Okay.
And then I'd rush back and work somewhere else in Timothy and then
Yes.
do other things.
So if there are people watching this who perhaps have been diagnosed and had a similar diagnosis to yourself but perhaps are still struggling, is there any advice or any tips, or what would you say to them?
I think the first bit is listen to your own body and what you think will work for you, and try it out and stick with it. I did the research. It's not just listening to an idea in your head. I did the research. It always led me to some research to look at, check it out, see if this works, and all the rest of it. And yeah, listen to yourself and go with what works for you and stick to it. If it works for you, stick with it. But I believe it's 3 things. I believe it's food, pure food, no additives, the stretches, some exercise, and well, I put it down as good thinking. Basically, a counsellor said to me, it's not what you ought to do, it's not what you must do, it's not what you should do, it's what you like to do and what you don't like to do. And in those days I thought, like? What do I like? I don't know what I like. I haven't a clue what I like, I don't know. So I had to put it to I want or I don't want. And that actually worked, because I started to really listen to my body, because I thought, oh, I feel really tired now. I want to go to sleep. I will go to sleep. It's really anal, banal stuff, really. But it's really getting down to that level of understanding yourself and what works for you and what doesn't.
When you were going through a really bad patch with it, I mean, what was the impact that had on you and your family and people around you? I mean, how bad was that?
I think I lost friends because I don't think they understood what was going on, and so it became a little bit lonely. But to be honest, you didn't have the energy anyway. A family struggled with it. I don't think they understand. And luckily, my husband was very helpful, because he was able to say, no, Marianne really can't do this, and she can't eat that, and this sort of thing. So they got used to it. And if I went to family occasions, I'd lie down on the floor. I could cope. And that actually sent more messages back to what was going on in my body, because I thought, I can talk as long as I'm lying down and rested, but if my body's got to keep me standing up, I can't think straight. It's like the blood didn't reach your head or something. And then if we were having family round, because we were a very large family, I would just disappear. I wouldn't bother with all the goodbyes, look, I'm going and all the rest of it, because then you start up hundreds of other conversations. I'd just disappear. And they got used to that. They got used to the fact that Marianne had left the room.
Was there a sort of stigma attached to it? Did they think that you were just being rude or being lazy? Or when you say that people didn't understand, what was it that they just didn't understand?
I think you'd have to ask them, really. I don't know. I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is, do you think that do you think that they were looking at you thinking, pull yourself together, you're being lazy,
ME is one of those illnesses, though, isn't it, where there are lots of symptoms that you can contribute to other things, and so people, if they're tired, like you said, it was originally chronic fatigue. I work with people, a lady that has ME, and she'll constantly say to me, well, I think they just think I'm off sick and that I'm pulling a fast one.
Yeah, I think
there's a stigma, and you can sometimes
I think
feel
I
isolated.
thought that.
Yeah.
I think I worried that they were thinking that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to say that they were, but I did worry about that.
Yeah.
And that added another element, actually, because then you felt really guilty, and then you thought, I don't want to go to those things because people think I'm odd and funny and strange and weird and all the rest of it. So I don't know whether it's your own perception or whether it's what they're giving out.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think they're giving it out. I don't think people are that unkind, but you just feel a little bit as though they are.
Because there isn't a physical necessarily manifestation, there's no kind of outward sign.
You can look really well. You can look absolutely in the picture of health, and people can't believe that you can't speak properly, because that's what would happen. I wouldn't be able to get my words out. And I'd say to my husband, I'm saying this word, what do I mean? And it was loads of rubbish coming out of my mouth, and he'd say, I think you mean perception or something, It's just, weird. It's a very strange thing. It's a very strange thing.
And how do you feel now? Do you think that obviously the positivity that you're obviously showing with everything that you're saying, have you been, how long now has it been you've sort of been this well?
I suppose I saw the glimmers of getting better in 2009, something like that. But it was 2011 that I started to feel really well. Yes, I feel great. How do I feel now? I feel absolutely fine and normal, and you just get up, you do whatever you've got to do, and you do as much as yes, just normal. There have been times when I felt not too brilliant, and I thought, oh no, don't tell me the ME's coming back, and because my father would say to me things like that and would make me laugh. But I could always plot it down to something I'd eaten, some food, and it's terrible. I tell you, I want to get that message out. If you've got food intolerances, you can feel like you've got flu, and it's just really, really awful. But as long as I know I can plot it to that, I can think, well, that's okay, that's the food. I can cope, because it's only be a couple of days and I'll be fine again.
Yeah. And I know the charity, talk a little bit about the charity, and obviously you've having classes and things yourself, aren't you, running classes and advice for people as well, a little bit? Or?
Well, I do remedial massage, and I can't help talking about it.
Yeah.
If I see, because you take the consultation and you sort of start plotting and adding things up, and you think, so I just say, look, this happened to me. I'm not suggesting you've got this, but if you do X, Y, Z, it could help. So we do chat. They take it on board, and they love it, and they just think, wow, this is really interesting. But I'm not a nutritionist, so I send them off to people who are, if that's what they need, or either to websites that will give them some more information on what they need to know. That's the message on. It's not just people getting the outside world to understand what ME is. It's getting the ME people themselves to perhaps understand what is going on in their body, and what can be done to improve it.